Imagine you are standing right in the middle of MetLife Stadium. It's the summer of 2026.
Oh man, the energy there must have been absolutely
It
insane.
was electric, deafening, honestly. You are packed into this massive arena with like over 80,000 screaming fans. You can literally feel the concrete vibrating beneath your feet.
Yeah, that is the pure magic of the World Cup right
For
there.
sure. And this is the highly anticipated Group C opening fixture. So on one side, you have the world number 6, the historic titans of the game, Brazil.
Right, the team everyone always expects to win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you have the world number 7, the trailblazing powerhouse from North Africa, Morocco.
Such a fascinating matchup.
It really is. And, the pre-match narrative surrounding this game is just entirely focused on historical Brazilian supremacy. I mean, you know the script.
Yeah, the Seleção arrive, they play this beautiful flowing football, and they just comfortably dismantle whoever is in front of them.
Right, but the reality on the pitch was a completely different story. So today we are taking the tactical report from this gritty 1-1 stalemate and, well, we're basically tearing it apart.
Yeah.
We want to figure out how a massive underdog totally flipped the script on the world stage. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah. And the foundation of this match is just essential to look at because it completely shattered all those pre-tournament expectations.
Oh, absolutely.
What you are looking at is, honestly, a genuine masterclass in modern tactical football. It's pitting Carlo Ancelotti's star-studded Brazilian side against Mohamed Wabi's highly evolved, incredibly disciplined Atlas Lions.
It's like the ultimate clash of styles, right?
Exactly. It serves as this ultimate case study in how tactical structures can, well, they can entirely neutralize raw talent. But then, conversely, how elite individual brilliance can temporarily shatter the most meticulously planned tactics.
Right.
The tension between those two ideas defined literally every single minute of this game.
And to really understand how that dynamic played out, I mean, we have to start right at the opening whistle. Because if you are wondering how a team goes about dismantling a tournament favorite right out of the gate, well, the first 30 minutes of this match are your blueprint.
Yeah, they really are.
Let's look at the shape of it. The report details Morocco operating in this highly fluid 4-2-3-1 structure. But the real headline here is their aggressive intensity and what the data actually calls high defensive compression.
Right, that compression was key.
They applied this intense mid-block press that just completely suffocated Brazil's midfield pivot. They totally neutralized Casemiro and Bruno Guimarães. But hold on, for those of you listening who don't, spend hours analyzing tactical whiteboards, what does that mid-block actually look like out there?
Yeah, it's a great question.
How is it physically suffocating two of the best midfielders in the entire world?
So think of it as like a moving, collapsing net.
Okay.
Morocco wasn't pressing high up the pitch to tackle Brazil's center backs. They actually let the center backs have the ball.
Wait, really? They just let them hold it?
Yeah, exactly. But the exact moment those defenders look to pass forward into the midfield, specifically trying to find Casemiro or Guimarães, the Moroccan players just aggressively collapsed all the space around those receivers.
Ah, I see.
They kept their own lines incredibly close together. We are talking maybe only 20 yards of space between their forwards and their own defenders.
It is tight.
Very tight. So by shrinking the playable area of the pitch in that middle third, they systematically just cut off the passing lanes. Every single time Casemiro checked in for the ball, he had, a Moroccan player breathing down his neck and 2 more cutting off his angles.
Wow. It actually reminds me of a perfectly executed full-court press in basketball.
Oh, that's a really good comparison.
Right. If you have ever played or even just watched basketball, you know that exact feeling when the opposing team presses up on you. It is just absolute panic-inducing for the ball handler.
Oh, for sure. You feel like you have nowhere to go.
Exactly. You can't see the floor. The passing lanes you usually rely on are suddenly totally clogged with defenders. And your main target under the hoop is completely cut off from the play.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like on the grass, too.
By doing this, Morocco completely isolated Brazil's center forward, Igor Thiago. They basically turned a massive, sprawling football pitch into a claustrophobic phone booth.
And, the result of that claustrophobia is just pure tactical panic for Brazil.
Yeah, they look so rattled.
They really did. Because when you force turnovers through sheer spatial pressure like that, you generate massive attacking momentum. The statistics from that opening half hour demonstrate this so brilliantly.
Let's hear the numbers.
So against Brazil, a team historically known for, dictating the terms of engagement and just hoarding the ball, the Atlas Lions registered 12 shots.
That is insane.
Right, and they racked up 11 touches inside the opposition penalty box in just 30 minutes.
12 shots against Brazil in 30 minutes is just a staggering metric. I mean, how exactly were they generating all that offense while simultaneously expending so much energy pressing in the middle of the pitch?
It really comes down to overloads in the wide areas. Achraf, Hakimi, and Nusser Mazraoui were just relentless on the
Oh, they
flanks.
them everywhere.
Truly. They were constantly making these overlapping runs, pushing super high up the pitch, and continuously creating numerical advantages against the Brazilian fullbacks.
It was like a 2-on-1 situation.
Exactly. And this creates a complete geometric nightmare for a defense. I mean, if the Brazilian center backs stay central, their fullbacks just get double-teamed by Hakimi and Mazraoui out wide.
Right.
But if the center backs decide to shift out to the wings to help out, well, they stretch the middle of their own defense. That leaves massive gaps right in front of their own goal. And those central gaps are exactly what Morocco was hunting for.
Which brings us directly to the moment the pressure finally burst.
Yeah.
In the 21st minute, we really see the culmination of all that claustrophobia.
The breakthrough.
Right. It starts, unsurprisingly, with a forced error. Brazilian center back Roger Ibanez plays this nervous, kind of short pass.
Yeah, he looked really rushed.
He did. And Lucas Paqueta just miscontrols it under pressure. So the ball is loose. Immediately, Bilal El Khanous pounces on it to recycle possession. He quickly funnels it over to Brahim Diaz, right in the center circle.
And this is where the vision comes in.
Exactly. Diaz looks up and he just dissects the pitch. He slices a perfectly weighted through ball right into that exact central gap you just mentioned, straight between Brazil's central defensive pairing of Marquinhos and Gabriel Magalhães.
What's fascinating here is how the execution of that final phase really relied on completely bypassing Brazil's own counterpress with sheer verticality.
Meaning they just went straight for the throat.
Exactly. Once Diaz plays that ball, Ismail Saibari is already running perfectly onto the delivery. He exploited a hesitant Alisson Becker in the Brazilian goal.
Yeah, Alisson looked a bit caught out there.
He was. He was caught just a fraction too slow to rush off his line and sweep the ball away. So Saibari executes the sublime, really delicate lob right over the goalkeeper to make it 1-0.
This is a beautiful finish.
It was incredible. And it wasn't just a lucky break, It was the clinical realization of their entire tactical design. Morocco was significantly more attacking, clinically sharp, and technically cohesive.
Yeah, they totally deserve that lead.
They used these short vertical passing combinations to just slice right through Brazil, all while keeping Brazil's most dangerous weapons on the wings. Vinicius Jr. and Rafinha, heavily guarded and practically invisible.
Okay, so imagine you are Carlo Ancelotti sitting on the Brazilian bench right now.
Not a fun place to be at that moment.
Not at all. Your entire tactical system is currently failing in front of the whole world. You are getting completely overrun in midfield, your wings are pinned back by Hakimi and Mazraoui, and your striker is just stranded on an island.
Total nightmare scenario.
Right. So what do you do when the structure you build is crumbling around you? Well, you rely on a superstar to break the rules. Here's where it gets really interesting.
The 32nd minute.
Exactly. Marking his 50th international cap, no less, Vinicius Jr. basically decides he's had enough of this tactical stalemate.
He took matters into his own hands.
He really did. He receives a progressive lateral pass from Bruno Guimarães deep on the left flank. Now, he is heavily marked by the Moroccan defense. The tactical system dictates he should probably recycle possession backwards, keep the ball, and try to build a new phase of play to draw the defense out.
Yeah, play it safe.
Right. But instead, he cuts inside sharply, completely escaping the defensive tracking of Neil El Ainaoui with just pure acceleration.
His burst of speed there is unmatched.
It's unreal. So he has minimal space at the edge of the 18-yard box, but he just unleashes this blistering, angled, right-footed strike. It's an absolute rocket into the top corner. Yassine Bounou stretches out for it, but the shot completely bypasses his arm. It's just a spectacular, jaw-dropping individual equalizer.
It's one of those goals you just have to applaud, regardless of who you're rooting for.
Oh, absolutely. But hold on. I look at that goal and I think, well, yes, it's brilliant, but isn't it also incredibly dangerous?
What do you mean?
Well, if Brazil's entire strategy in a World Cup relies on hoping Vinicius Jr. does something superhuman from 25 yards out, Aren't they just covering up a massive tactical failure?
Mhm.
Doesn't an incredible individual moment like that actually mask Brazil's systemic flaws?
Oh, yeah. That tension right there is the defining reality of tournament football. It is absolutely a temporary cover-up. But honestly, sometimes you just need to survive until the halftime whistle so you can actually rebuild your structure.
Just weather the storm.
Exactly. And you cannot deny the psychological shift that single strike caused on the pitch. Before the goal, Brazil looked disjointed, anxious, just really hurried. The equalizer immediately dragged Brazil out of that state of tactical panic.
Yeah, you could visibly see them relax a bit.
You really could. The data shows it allowed them to steady their possession metrics and just breathe for a second. But to your point, the systemic flaws definitely remained. The report emphasizes that Brazil remained highly susceptible to Morocco's rapid transition mechanisms.
Right, they weren't out of the woods yet.
Not at all. In fact, right before the interval, Bonu had to make a crucial diving save against a Lucas Paqueta half volley. The vulnerability was still glaringly obvious, even if the scoreline was level.
So the referee blows the whistle for halftime. The individual brilliance of Vini Jr. has bought Brazil a lifeline. They are level at 1-1, but the narrative in the locker room has to change.
Oh, Ancelotti was definitely having words with them.
No doubt. Ancelotti now has 15 minutes to actually fix this broken structure. He knows he can't just cross his fingers and ask his winger to score a world-class goal every single time they fall behind.
Right. And Ancelotti's response here is what separates elite management from mere observation. He recognized the immediate existential danger to his team.
Which was the discipline issue, right?
Exactly. Casemiro and Roger Ibanez were both carrying yellow cards from trying to stop Morocco's counterattacks in that frantic first half. Against a Moroccan team that transitions this quickly and forces you into these desperation tackles, having your defensive midfielder and your center back on yellows means you are literally one split-second error away from a red card and losing the game.
That's a terrifying position to be in as a manager.
It is.
So he immediately subs them out at halftime, bringing on Fabinho and the highly experienced Danilo. But how exactly did those two specific personnel changes alter the geometry of the pitch? I mean, we know it solidified Brazil's central defensive block, but how?
Think of it like trying to fix the cracked foundation of a house while a flood is actively rushing in through the front door.
Okay, vivid image.
Ancelotti needed stability immediately. Danilo, coming in for Ibanez, offered a much more disciplined, conservative positional approach. He wasn't getting pulled out of position by Morocco's wide overloads like Ibanez was.
He stayed anchored.
Exactly. And meanwhile, Fabinho, who replaced Casemiro, didn't try to aggressively chase the ball in the midfield. Instead, he anchored himself firmly in front of the center backs, creating this really dense physical shield.
Ah, so he plugged the gap?
Yep. By holding his position, Fabinho denied Morocco those central passing lanes they had exploited for their first goal. This geometric shift provided a really secure base, allowing Brazil's fullbacks to push slightly higher without completely exposing the center of the pitch.
And the statistical flip between the first half and the second half perfectly illustrates the impact of that structural repair. Remember how we said Morocco had 12 shots and 11 touches in the box in the first 30 minutes?
Yeah, they were dominant.
Right, but by the 65th minute of the match, Morocco's attacking output had completely vanished.
It was striking.
0 shots in the second half, 0 touches in the opposition box. They completely altered their approach, just dropping back into a very compact, deep, low block.
Yeah, and a low block essentially means pulling almost all 11 players back within 30 or 40 yards of your own goal line. You concede the midfield entirely just to protect the penalty area.
Just back in the box.
Exactly. And with Morocco pinned back like that, Ancelotti wasn't just settling for defensive stability anymore. He saw the opportunity to actually win the game. At the hour mark, he brought on Matheus Cunha and Luis Henrique to inject attacking depth, directness, and real physical intensity against a tiring Moroccan defense.
It was a total reversal of the match's timeline. Brazil just dominated the second half possession. They were creating dangerous chances, mostly funneling the ball down that left wing through Vinicius Jr.
He was heavily involved again.
Constantly. Yeah. He was feeding Igor Thiago in the middle. He forced a sharp reaction save from Bonu. He even set up Rafinha for a low drive that Bonu had to cleanly handle. Brazil was really turning the screws, but the final whistle didn't come easy. We had a grueling 10 minutes of stoppage time, and the late drama was intense.
Oh, the physical toll of the match became incredibly apparent in stoppage time. Both teams were just running on fumes at that point, yet they were trading these massive opportunities to steal a winner.
It was end-to-end stuff.
It really was. Rafinha nearly capitalized on a rare loose back pass from the exhausted Moroccan defense. Then Morocco just surged forward on this desperate counter. Neil El Enaoui unleashed a strike from distance that forced Alisson into a vital, sprawling low save.
I remember that save. It was crucial.
Huge moment. And that rebound caused a heroic goal-mouth scramble. Just absolute chaos in the Brazilian box. And it was only stopped because Fabinho committed a calculated, tactical foul to kill the play.
A veteran move right there.
Oh, 100%. And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the 1-1 draw was an incredibly fair reflection of the contest.
I completely agree.
It was a gritty, high-caliber tactical war. Morocco entirely dominated the structural setup of the first half, imposing their intense mid-block on the game. And then Brazil, guided by Ancelotti's sweeping adjustments, controlled the spatial dynamics of the second half.
So what does this all mean? If we zoom out away from those 90 minutes on the pitch at MetLife, what is the trajectory for both of these nations moving forward? And more importantly, what is the takeaway for you listening to this deep dive right now? I mean, that 21-match World Cup opening unbeaten streak for Brazil is a fantastic piece of trivia, but it masks the reality that Morocco just laid out the blueprint for how to expose them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. For Morocco, this performance absolutely solidifies them as an elite global heavyweight. Mohamed Wabi has brilliantly evolved the tactical foundation that took them to that historic semifinal run in Qatar in 2022.
They aren't just a flash in the pan.
Not at all. They combined rigid defensive discipline with highly creative vertical transitional play. Looking ahead to their group stage fixtures against Scotland and Haiti, they look incredibly dangerous. Honestly, they are heavily favored to win Group C now, provided they can sustain that high-pressing energy.
But the report makes it very clear that Brazil faces a massive wake-up call. Their mid-block vulnerability and slow defensive transitions were just heavily exposed.
Yeah, the gaps were obvious.
Ancelotti's initial 4-2-3-1 setup lacked fluid ball progression through the middle. If Brazil wants to be a premier trophy contender, Ancelotti has to fix those build-up anxieties. He has to better integrate their midfield lines so they aren't just bypassing the center of the pitch and, praying Vinicius Jr. produces a miracle every game.
Yeah, you can't rely on miracles for an entire tournament.
Exactly. And I think there is a profound takeaway here for you, the listener, even if you never plan on managing a football team.
There usually is with these things.
Right. Because we all face high-stakes scenarios in our own lives, whether it's launching a new project at work, managing a complex team, or navigating a sudden crisis. You go in with a meticulously designed system, a plan of how things are supposed to work.
And then reality hits.
Exactly. Sometimes that plan gets completely blown up by an unexpected variable. Your weaknesses get exposed for everyone to see. The real lesson from this match isn't about having the raw talent to magically save the day. It's about having the humility to dismantle your own failing plan in front of millions of people.
Yeah, leaving your ego at the door.
Precisely. It's the ability to step back in that metaphorical locker room, diagnose your vulnerabilities in real time without getting defensive, and make the difficult structural adjustments required to stop the floodwaters.
This raises an important question, though, and it's something the report subtly touches on when discussing the second half.
Oh, what's that?
Well, we noted that Morocco's offense completely disappeared, 0 shots in the second half, because they were forced to drop into that deep, low block.
Right.
They physically could not sustain the intense high press that won them the first 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, the human body simply cannot redline for 90 straight minutes.
Exactly. And this begs a much larger physiological question about the modern game. In these highly condensed international tournaments where players are already coming off exhausting club seasons, is the perfect high-pressing system essentially a tactical trap?
Oh, wow. That's a great point.
If human physiology makes it literally impossible to maintain that level of suffocating intensity for a full match, then maybe we're evaluating championship teams all wrong.
How so?
Perhaps the true mark of a World Cup winner isn't how beautifully or aggressively they can press in the first half hour. Maybe the ultimate test is how comfortably a team can survive, adapt, and suffer in a low block when total exhaustion inevitably sets in.
That is a fascinating thought to end on. You cannot sprint a marathon, no matter how brilliant your opening strategy is. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope you take these tactical insights with you. Keep analyzing the systems around you. Keep looking for those structural shifts in your own world, and we will see you next time.